It was supposed to be just another night in Tokyo Dome. A music festival, a star-studded lineup, and a sold-out crowd buzzing with routine anticipation. But in a moment that no one predicted, and no one will ever forget, the entire stadium fell into collective shock when Jin of BTS, thought to have vanished after his emotional Coldplay performance, appeared without warning on stage in the middle of the festival's third act. There was no official announcement. There was no schedule change. There wasn't even a whisper in the media. And that was what made it seismic. As the music to The Astronaut began playing, its melody slowed, its tone deeper, more orchestral. The crowd grew confused. Some thought it was a tribute. Others assumed it was a cover. But then the center of the stage began to rise. A figure stood at the center. Dressed in an ethereal white coat embroidered with constellations, the unmistakable silhouette of Jin BTS emerged, alone, graceful, and deadly silent. The crowd didn't scream. They collapsed, literally. Some were seen dropping to their knees. Others covered their mouths in disbelief. And as his voice rang out through the dome, raw and resonant, the sobs began. Loud, unfiltered, universal, because no one was ready, and no one thought he would be there. After all, Jin had disappeared, following his surprise appearance with Coldplay in South Korea just days earlier, where he performed The Astronaut to thunderous applause only to vanish hours later without explanation. Armies around the world were left emotionally wrecked. Jin hadn't posted. HYB remained silent. Military insiders refused to confirm anything about his schedule. Many fans assumed it was over, that the Coldplay stage was a one-night miracle, that Jin had offered the world a final moment before retreating once again into the silence of military duty. But Tokyo changed everything, because Jin didn't just show up, he transformed the night. He didn't speak at first. He just sang. His voice, shakier than usual, yet soaked in depth, carried the full weight of every unanswered question left behind in Seoul. And when he reached the second chorus, the stadium lights shifted. The LED screens behind him lit up, not with visuals, but with letters, fan letters, handwritten messages in Japanese, English, and Korean, all from armies who had written to him after his Coldplay performance. Messages like, "You showed up when we thought we'd never see you again." Even one note was enough, but thank you for singing the whole song. This pain is worth it just to see you once more. Fans screamed. Others sobbed harder. The Tokyo Dome became a cathedral of emotion, but it wasn't just the fans who were shaken. Industry insiders who attended the event later reported that even event staff were crying backstage. One technician allegedly whispered, "I've worked hundreds of shows. I've never seen a crowd react to silence like that." Because what Jin offered wasn't a concert. IT was closure, and then some. And then, just when the emotions peaked, Chris Martin stepped onto the stage. Yes, Chris Martin, Coldplay's frontman, flew to Tokyo in secret, walking out beside Jin as the final chorus of The Astronaut echoed through the dome. No one had seen it coming. No one knew it was possible. But there they were, side by side, united again under a shared constellation of memory, friendship, and music. They didn't speak. Chris placed a hand on Jin's shoulder. Jin nodded. Together, they sang the last lines. The stadium was no longer an audience. It was an altar. And then, as quickly as he appeared, he bowed, thanked the crowd in Japanese with trembling sincerity, and disappeared backstage. Just like that. And no encore. No press release. No blog. No merch. Only a handful of fan-recorded videos managed to capture the moment before HYB quickly issued takedown notices to maintain the purity of the experience. But the damage, or rather, the healing, had already been done. He sang, and he vanished again. Online, fan communities are calling it the Tokyo Blessing. Others are calling it Jin's Phantom Era, referring to his unexpected reappearances across countries during military service. But everyone agrees, it felt like a goodbye wrapped in a miracle. What comes next? HYB remains silent. The Japanese organizers confirmed only that Jin participated under a confidential cultural delegation agreement. Coldplay, once again, simply tweeted, 2 nights, 2 nations, 1 voice. Thank you, seokjin. And that was it now. Fans are left replaying every moment, every frame, every lyric, trying to hold on to something that slipped through their fingers like stardust, because no one knew he would be there and no one knows if he ever will be again. But for one night in Tokyo, Jin didn't just return. He reminded the world that music is not just sound. It's memory. It's presence. It's a heartbeat that keeps echoing. Long after the singer has stepped off the stage, but long after Jin had walked off the stage, long after the lights dimmed and the last fan chant faded into a shaky echo, One thing became clear. This was not a simple guest appearance. This was a turning point for Jin, for BTS, and for how artists communicate in the age of uncertainty. He gave no interviews. He left no statement, and yet the world wouldn't stop talking about him. News outlets from Seoul to Sao Paulo ran front-page stories. Japanese television interrupted its usual broadcast to air clips of stunned Tokyo Dome attendees, some still in tears, struggling to process what they had just witnessed. International media described it as the most emotionally charged 5 minutes of any live performance in recent history. And as footage, blurry, shaky, forbidden, leaked through fan accounts before being wiped by HYB's copyright team, one thing was obvious. Everyone wanted to relive it. Every blink, every breath, every note. Even armies who had been present in Seoul for the Coldplay collaboration admitted, this felt different. In Seoul, Jin was nostalgic. In Tokyo, he was transcendent. IT wasn't just about music anymore. IT was about longing, about being almost home, but not quite, about using art as a bridge, not to perform, but to exist. And Jin's performance did just that. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag Tokyo Blessing, hashtag Jin Returns, hashtag seokjin Phantom Stage, and hashtag Astronaut Lives Again began trending in over 50 countries. Fan art poured in, paintings of Jin reaching toward the stars, digital edits of his constellation coat glowing in the Tokyo night, videos recreating his walk onto the stage with captions like, "A ghost? A gift?" or both. YouTubers and TikTok creators turned the moment into cinematic edits, voiceover tributes, and slow-motion breakdowns. Many titles echoed the same emotional headline, "The night he said everything without saying a word." But while fans were celebrating, they were also hurting because once again, Jin had left no trail, an "oh backstage footage," an "oh selfie," an "oh fan sign," an "oh goodbye." Just like Seoul, he had returned only to disappear again. And this time, it hit even harder. In Japan, fans gathered at the foot of Tokyo Dome the next morning, not for tickets, but for closure. They left notes taped to the glass, paper cranes folded with handwritten messages, candles, letters, sketches. Point one stood out. It was written in delicate Korean, translated beneath into Japanese and English. "You came back like a comet. We looked up, and now we're still looking, hoping you return." And then another shocked, a single photo surfaced, grainy, taken from a distance, posted by an anonymous airline staffer. Jin, still in his white constellation coat, was seen boarding a military vehicle outside Haneda Airport. Not a commercial flight, not a van, a government-issued black SUV with an escort. Within minutes, the image was gone, but fans had already saved it, analyzed it, shared it. IT was the final piece of proof. He didn't just vanish again. He was taken back. Sources from Korean military forums began circulating posts, unconfirmed, but chillingly detailed, claiming Jin had been granted a double-night cultural dispatch, the rarest of military exemptions. Meaning, he had exactly 36 hours to travel internationally, perform, and return. No extensions. No delays. That if true, Jin had pulled off the impossible, performed live in 2 countries under 2 different governments' cultural oversight, while under active military enlistment, and somehow kept it from leaking until the very moment he appeared. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to, because he missed us, because he remembered us, and because even while serving his country in silence, he needed to speak through song. And then he was gone again. Weeks passed. No new posts. No updates. HYB issued a final note on Weverse. "Thank you for supporting Kim Seokjin's recent cultural appearances. Please continue to respect his privacy as he fulfills his national duties." Simple, cold, corporate, but fans didn't need official words anymore. They had his words. "I didn't come here for a concert. I came here because I missed you." That sentence echoed louder than any press release. IT became Army's anthem. Printed on banners, embroidered on merchandise, even tattooed by some fans. IT reminded the world what made BTS different. Not just the choreography, not just the discography, but the connection. A connection so strong that one man, under strict orders against all odds, crossed borders, broke silence, and gave his voice to the people who needed it most, even if only for a moment. And now that moment lives on.